What's up guys, I'm Shane and welcome to Spare Change. Today we're going to be checking out Jungle Cruise on 4K streaming. This isn't a video on how entertaining the movie is, I'll just be sharing some of my thoughts on the audio and the video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 3.4K. I'm going to take a guess and say it's probably got a 2K DI. It's rated PG-13. Runtime is 127 minutes and the aspect ratio is 239:1, so there are black letterbox bars. I think we're all used to these Disney Atmos mixes that either lack overhead activity or that has lower than normal volume. I did have to bump my volume about 5 to 6 dB to get things up to my normal listening levels, so I mean there's still that. But as far as Atmos surround immersiveness, this is one of the most active Disney mixes I've heard, which you can see in the Atmos viewer. If you don't know what the Atmos viewer is, I'll leave a link for it in the video's description. The video description is in the little area here, and if you're on your cell phone, it's in this section here. Seeing as the movie largely takes place in the jungle, you'll be surrounded in every direction with wildlife ambiance that transports you into the jungle. There's different insects and creatures that move through the different channels, which creates this big open feeling. And this is a legit Atmos mix with objects that move dynamically through the different channels. You can tell by the moving yellow balls. Now I'm sure if this was a lossless track there'd be better sense of air and fidelity, but for a digital stream, I was impressed by how clean it sounded. Another clean aspect of the movie is the image quality. It was shot digitally from the information that I could gather, so that means there's no film grain to be seen, so the grain haters are going to be happy. I thought at times the image could be 4K crispy with sharp, well-defined edges and details, and other times the image would have a softness to it. I'm not sure if it's the stream or if it's the visual aesthetic they were going for, but it did have a pleasant, if not digital look. I felt some of the digital effects were as lifelike as what we saw in the Lion King remake, and other times the CG was soft and questionable at best.
I beg your pardon?
I mentioned how good the ambiance was, but the bigger action scenes have just as much activity moving throughout the speakers as the quieter parts. Every channel is lit up green with effects moving through the lower channels, and musical extension reaches up top. As for bass response, the movie's got an ample bottom end. And I know we all love a good bottom. You can see how loud they get when the subs start turning red during the rapid scene. There's water splashing everywhere with the subwoofers pounding away in the background. Now, even though the movie's got some potent LFE, I could tell there's more down low, which we'll probably get when the physical disc comes out. But again, for a Disney stream, it gave my subs a good workout for this scene and anytime anything blew up. Big explosions mean bright HDR with specular highlights. Yes, there's some nice pop from flames and sun rays, so you might be squinting here and there. The overall picture was fairly bright throughout with a color palette that's extremely warm. That's a lot of sepia tones and orangey hues, so there won't be any crazy vivid primary colors splashed all over the screen. Along with the warm visuals, you get some warm black levels. They weren't always deep and contrasty, as they could look a bit raised at times. There is a lot of darkness in the movie, so you'll see big sections of the screen that lacked much detail. Maybe it's the stream, and maybe it's not, but it is a stylized look that works well for the movie. Another thing to mention about the audio is that the dialogue, unlike in other Disney movies, did sound normal, so it wasn't a struggle, at least for me it wasn't, to hear the character speaking. But if it did for you, then leave a comment down below. So for audio, I'm gonna have to give it an 8.8. I think the overhead channels were on maybe 80% of the time. It's mostly light ambiance and music, but when things start picking up, that's when you'll hear effects start zipping around. Bass had robust low-end response, and the soundstage for a digital stream was big, detailed, and spacious. I'd hope once the physical disc and the Kaleidoscape versions come out that the audio is going to be even more dynamic. But being Disney, who knows? For video quality, I felt it leaned more on the softer side with some crispy bits thrown in. I also think they applied some digital smoothing to Emily Blunt's face, because in certain shots, her face was glowing with waxiness. Could be the low bitrate stream, so we'll have to wait and see. Black levels and shadow detail wasn't always the greatest, but the HDR does provide some nice color pop and saturation. Overall, I did enjoy the look of the movie, and I'd have to give it an 8.2. So what are your thoughts on Jungle Cruise on 4K? Have you seen it, and how do you think it stacks up to the Pirates of the Caribbean? Leave a comment down below and let us know. As always guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again in the next video.